there's a saying, ask the experts. If you want to know how to do something, ask the people who are already doing it. So I called Ann and I said, do you think you could share, kind of in show mode, a few of your favorite things? So Ann is just going to give you a little slice of her show with a few of the things that she is on her top sales list and teach us how she does that. So thank you, Ann.
Thank you. Hey, Marna, I got the right color on. Can I get close? Woo! Okay. I just want to give everybody a little bit of history about me that you may not know me. This is actually my 19th year doing the Pampered Chef. And I'm not saying this to be braggadocious, but there's kind of a reason why I want to share that with you. My very first year of doing Pampered Chef, I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't get trained, really. I got inherited up to be under Patty eventually. And I came to a meeting, and Nancy Jo gave me a pin that was Cinderella's castle with a pearl hanging from it. And she goes, "You're earning a trip to go to Disney." And I go, "Oh, thank you." I thought they put my name in a raffle and I won it. But no, I earned it. I didn't even know they had trips. I have never missed a trip since that time. The trips are probably my big wahoo with the Pampered Chef after the products. The products are what I am passionate about, and I think that really comes out of my shows, and I use all the products in my own kitchen, so I think it gives me a little bit of a different influence when I talk about the products. I also wanted to share with you that I've done 3,122 shows in 19 years. And that breaks down to an average of 168 a year and 3.4 shows a week. Nancy Jo always told us if you do 2 shows a week, no matter what, you will have everything you want in your business. That has never changed. Those numbers are still right on. They're the truth. They're like gospel. So 2 shows a week, no matter what, and you will be at Disney in 2015. I pulled up my list of my top 20 items just since this past September. Well, I'm not really going to share that list with you because my #1 top seller was a Season's Best Cookbook. Well, I didn't get $141,000 this year by selling just Season's Best Cookbooks. My #2 item was a nylon mini serving spatula. My 3rd item was a brownie pan. Then we went into a little bit more of a kick mode, and I had the deep covered baker and the rock rocks. So when I do a show, I tell them everything is my favorite. And I say, I don't mean this to sound redundant, but everything is my favorite because I honestly don't know how I could cook in my kitchen without the Pampered Chef tools. Product knowledge is the key of what is going to open the door to you with your customers. You have got to give them credibility. Let me ask to see a show of hands. How many of you have been in the business less than 3 months? Okay. Just a few on this side. Okay. The best thing you can do is read the catalog cover to cover. Our marketing team has put a great catalog together. They've used great picture words to paint a picture. Memorize those words. Go on the website and study everything you can about a particular product. Maybe learn 20 products a week just to get more knowledge about them. When Marie shared with us how to do the heart out of strawberry and the egg slicer, those are very simplistic tools. Some of you may not even take them to your shows. But little things like the core and more. It's not just for taking the core out of strawberry. It's for taking the stem out of a tomato. Raking the seeds out of a jalapeno, make the perfect watermelon ball, scrape the seeds out of your cucumber. Those are little tips that your customers are on the edge of their seat listening and waiting for you to share with them. So often they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I need a notebook, I need to take notes. Can you write this all down in a booklet? Can you do a video?" And I honestly never know what I'm really going to talk about a show until it jumps into my head, or I happen to pick it up out of my tool turnabout. Or I'll just say, open the catalog, pick out a tool, ask me a question about it. And sometimes it's kind of like, stump the judge or what's the name of that song type thing. And it just like clicks with me and I'll go, okay, I got to tell you about this. Another top seller of mine is the core herb. Most people think it's just the apple core. So when the weather's cold right now, you tell them about how to make a stuffed apple. Maybe put some caramel in it or some brown sugar and raisins, microwave it. But nobody really knows to put it through a potato, hollow out the potato, and then use the cheese grater, and grate your cheddar cheese, cook bacon on the stoneware bar pan in the oven, crumble that bacon, that cheese, stuff it inside the potato. The part of the potato that comes out of the core looks like a cork. Cut a little piece off, pat it in the end, wrap it in foil, put it in the oven, or out on the charcoal grill. Guys love it. They cut into it, and they've got a stuffed baked potato.
Wow.
Did you see how excited I got about a dumb potato? You do that about all these different products, these food items at your shows, and people are like, wow, it's the wow factor. And they're getting excited, and you can see they're just writing on add more items onto their order form. The deep covered baker truly is probably one of my most popular items right now. I also decide on the recipes that I'm going to make based upon what the special is the next coming month and the current month. Now, because the weather's cold, I'm doing a lot of comfort food shows and featuring soups, the soup and slippers theme, and always something in either the grill pan or the family skillet. On my soup and slippers party, I'm pre-making a loaf of the artesian bread, and I'm taking it to the show, and I'm telling them I am not a baker. I cannot bake bread. But I can do artesian bread, and it's like a great bakery. It's like Panera, move over. I do a lot of the loaded baked potato soup. It takes 18 minutes or less in the microwave. Lately, I've been doing it in the Dutch oven, rock on the stovetop. We've been having higher show attendance, which is great. So a couple of my hostesses are concerned. I think they really want leftovers, or planned-overs, rather. So I'm doing 2 soups. I've been doing the pasta fagioli and the loaded baked potato soup. I will then probably follow up with the turtle fudge skillet cake. The hostess has kids there. I'm letting them mix together the cake batter for me. Just pour the cake into the family skillet, flip it out onto the platter, and then I make a wonderful ganache using chocolate, a cup of chocolate, a cup of Cool Whip, melt that together, and then add your caramel. And I'm finding ways to help my hostesses actually cut the cost of their grocery ingredients. Like on the pasta fagioli, they don't need to have the fresh herbs right now. We can use dried. I take a lot of our Pampered Chef herbs from our pantry to share. I sell a ton of herbs right now. In addition to that, I'm also doing the 3-minute dip. The garlic and brie baker was on my top sell list. It was, I think, about number 6 on my list. I sold a ton of those at Christmas time for Christmas presents. That 3-minute dip, you can jazz it up, switch it out so many different ways. For my Mexican-style shows right now, I'm using it just with a Tex-Mex rub and serving it with tortilla chips and some veggies. They are going crazy over it. They're like licking the bowl out. So I sold a lot of those at Christmas time as a set. And I sell a lot of my products as sets because I upsell their order. So if they're getting the garlic and brie baker, they need a couple of herbs to go along with it. They need the trivet, or at least the silicone hot pot pad to put underneath it. It wouldn't hurt if they had the microwave grips to take it out of the microwave. And they need the bamboo specialty serving set for serving. So right there, you're getting about a $75 order. So something that costs $29, you're upselling it almost more than double in price. The deep covered baker, you can cross-sell that with lots of things. If you're doing the loaded baked potato soup, you have to have the mix and chop. I usually add a little bit of garlic, so I'm a garlic fiend. So I demonstrate 3 ways to do a garlic at my show. I use a traditional garlic press, show them how they do not have to peel the garlic. I use the garlic peeler and slicer, and I've been using the garlic mincer. And I explain to them the 3 different ways that you may use that garlic and why it's so good and healthy for you, the purposes of it, and which application they would want to apply it to a certain recipe that they might be doing in their kitchen. The manual food processor kind of runs nip and tuck with the food chopper. And I will ask, how many of you have the food chopper? And I'll get pretty much a show of hands that at least half the audience already has it. So then I key in on those folks, and I let them know why they want the manual food processor, because they can put double the amount of food in it. And then I give them some other ideas on what to use it for, like making a wonderful salad dressing. It really emulsifies the oils and the vinegars really well. Cream cheese softened to make it into a flavored cream cheese. And make a quick salsa. If nothing else, if you're doing a Mexican party, I use canned tomatoes and just really doctor it up with onion and jalapeno and garlic and lime juice. And I'm incorporating a lot of tools and making a very simplistic salsa, which is costing probably less than $1 to make for the hostess out of her food budget. Back to the brownie pan. That brownie pan has made how many of us reach some goals each month? For all of us that are doing Facebook parties, we've added spatulas and bows and ribbons and everything to the brownie pan. Janet on my team, I call the brownie pan queen. She does a lot of vendor fairs, and I think that's her highest seller. How many did you sell at one vendor fair?
I did order for like 80.
80? Wow. So that is an item you can sell to everybody. When I talk about one of those products that I just mentioned, we have developed e-cookbooks. And so I tell my customers that when they order that item, I'm going to email them one of those cookbooks. So for the Rock Crock, I have put together a lot of my deep-covered baker recipes and incorporated them to go into the Rock Crock. I've also taken some of the Pampered Chef recipes, so I have it all in a Word document. The Rock Crock, I sold a lot more of those at the Christmas time for gifts. Right now, it's not selling as well as I anticipated it to be for January for my soup and slippers parties, but it's a booking tool. I'm finding some of my audience, they might be a little bit crunched with utility bills or getting ready for taxes or just credit card payoff, so they are booking a lot of parties to get the Rock Crock. I'm explaining to them all the differences of the Rock Crock versus the deep-covered baker, and I'm spending quite a bit of time explaining the Rock Crock and just telling them that it took me a while to kind of wrap my brain around it because it is unlike anything we have had in our Pampered Chef cooking industry. That there's nothing at all like it in the cooking industry at all. To go from stovetop to microwave to oven to broiler to grill to dishwasher to freezer, that nothing else on the market does that. So I'm sharing with them all the versatility of it and how they can actually save money. And I'm sharing some of the recipes that I've made in my own personal kitchen and painting that recipe with a picture and just telling them like basically how mouth-watering it is, like the French onion mushroom soup. It just melts in your mouth, and those onions are so savory and caramelized. It's better than anything you would have at a restaurant. You make that once if you have it for company or for your family, I guarantee they will be asking for it again. All of the different pasta dishes and the braised dishes, again, this is cold weather for most of us here, and people want comfort food. They're cooking roast. They're cooking totally different than what they cook in the summertime. Typically, when I would make a roast, I would brown it first in a pan, then I would transfer it to my deep-covered baker, and then probably put it in the oven, and then transfer those juices back into a pan to make my gravy, and it was just too many extra steps, and it took too long. Where now I just share with them that I can do everything in the Rock Crock, braise my roast, put it in the oven, make my gravy, keep my vegetables in there, store it in there, reheat it in there, and I'm just sharing that it's such a time saver. So again, that has been a great booking tool. The family skillet, our cookware, I sell a lot of our cookware with the family skillet and the grill pan. I do a lot of bookings for people just to get our cookware. I take all three pieces of the cookware, being the nonstick, the ceramic, and the stainless. I pass them all around. I share what the qualities and the benefits are of each one. I try to ask people individually who's had cookware that's been disposable cookware, who has to replace their cookware every 7 years because the coating has flaked off. And I tell them that, your husband might be thinking he's got pepper in those mashed potatoes, but it's really Teflon. So I get a lot of bookings because of the cookware to get for half price. When people see and they feel the quality of our cookware, they know what they have at home, and they know it does not begin to compare with ours. When you tell them it's a lifetime warranty, and when you've made a cake in the family skillet, and you flip it out and they taste how moist it is. I do a lot of brunch parties on Saturdays, and I do a giant frittata, and they see it only takes about 18 minutes to cook, and it's so light and airy and fluffy. Again, they're seeing the actual proof of having that recipe and tasting it, and then when they see the pan, it's like virtually clean. I go, I really don't have to take this home to wash it. It's already clean because it easily releases from the pan. More times, I will take one of those recipes out of the oven. They are watching me do that, and they go, did you put that in the oven? So again, you kind of start that whole process over and say, yes, it's oven safe. This one is oven safe to 350, 400, 450. And you can see the wheels kind of turning in their mind. And I've had quite a few women at my party that have said, my husband does all the cooking, and he doesn't like our pots and pans, or he would love this pan. Knives are a guy thing. I've been doing more parties lately where the wife will say, my husband does the majority of the cooking. Do you mind if he hangs around? I say, oh gosh, no. You don't need to get rid of your pets, your kids, or your husband. Everybody is welcome. It's all about food, family, and friends. My strategy is if they're having a good time, they're going to share it with their friends. And again, it's all about what John said and Marna earlier. You're connecting with your customers and you're connecting with your hostess. I do a lot of repeat hostesses with my hostesses. In fact, you brought something up earlier about being invited to a wedding. For Thanksgiving, I didn't really have anything to do, and I had a hostess that invited me to their house for Thanksgiving dinner. And I was so touched, and she was very genuine, and I kind of made an excuse. I said, oh, no, my daughter's going to be down afterwards, and I think she knew I was kind of fibbing a little bit. And she goes, well, if you don't want to drive, I'll have my son come over and pick you up. So it was kind of an invitation. She was not going to let me decline the invitation. It was a wonderful experience.
Did you go?
I went. I think she wanted the son to come pick me up in case I drank wine. I drove myself. Anyway, I started bringing in about men. Men love our knives. And if you can put our Santoku knife into the husband's hand, you have sold the whole butcher block set, hands down. I take a lot of product to my show, probably a lot more than what we might recommend, but I have cut back over the years, but I keep adding to my bag. All of a sudden I got 3 bags going to the door, maybe 3.5 bags, but people want to see the product. You have to do what works for you, know your audience. I also ask my host if there's anything in particular that she might want to see that night, or if she's had special requests from anybody on her guest list, and I will be happy to bring it. I do have all the products. I love them all. I use them all. If there's something that I don't care about that much, I'm very honest with my customers, and I share with them that, I personally don't use it that much, but it would probably be a good item for you. I do want to share, I just used last week, oh gosh, I'm doing a cardinal rule, I forgot the name of it. What's the thing that we put on the top when we pump the air out of it? Yes, the pump saver. Oh my gosh, I used that for an avocado the other day because I only ate half the avocado. I put it in a prep bowl, I pumped the air out, I kind of forgot I had it sitting there. It was still vibrant green 3 days later. So I've been sharing that at the last couple parties, and I have sold 3 of those. So it was something I just didn't sell. The other interesting thing I just want to share with you, a while back, some of us were invited to the home office and the test kitchens, and I asked a question about recipes, and they were working on some recipes. As we walked in, they kind of put a sheet over the table so we couldn't see anything. And it smelled so good. It was like, what are you working on? And they just kind of like, they were like oblivious to us. It's like they didn't even know we were standing there. Well, they worked several seasons out in formulating their recipes. So I asked, how do you devise a recipe? And the one gal said, oh, it's not about the recipe. It's about the product. They give us a product, and then we have to make recipes to support that product. So I think that is a real key A couple of years ago, how many garlic and brie bakers did anybody really sell? Now that we have the 3-minute dip, how many garlic and brie bakers are you selling? So, you have to trust our company. You have to trust what they tell us to do. It's not rocket science. They've made it very simplistic. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. I don't recommend making up your own recipes. I pretty much do everything out of the season's best, which is 29 minutes. They're quick, they're easy, they're delightful, they're family friendly. Everybody loves them. So keep it simple for yourself. We've had an acronym for KISS. Keep it simple, sweetie. And by taking some of those easy steps, and everything is duplicatable by doing a lot of the same things over and over, it will keep your life focused and on track, and you won't get frazzled and crazed out, so you won't get frustrated.
Thank you.